All right, welcome back to SOS. I'm Stats Arm Badass. Almost made the song play too long. I don't want that to happen. So, T Rex is sporting his biker jacket today. He is obviously, we get that to focus. There we go. He is 100% right there. So, you got your percenters out there. So, I rode for several years and I was a motorcycle instructor and I used to teach and I was also a motorcycle club president in the Marine Corps for several years. I did that, and while I did that, I had the opportunity to do things that most motorcyclists never get the chance to do, and that's to do knee dragger courses. And I took every motorcycle course or class that came across the board. The Marine Corps, the it's the safety program, so it's all connected to safety and influencing, strengthening riders and things like that. So these programs exist in the Marine Corps or in other branches of service, not just the one I was in. So everyone gets the opportunity to do this stuff. There'll be a there'll be some sort of instructor or something in your neck of the woods if you're in the military. So that I had the opportunity to be able to do that, and I learned a significant amount about two wheels. And the I was talking to a fellow the other day. He was talking about a car to me, and how unbelievably fast it can take off. And he's never rode before, so he's telling me. I know he's telling me about this car that had incredible horsepower, and it just right out the box it's got all this power. So I said you know what else is fast? A motorcycle. The torque and horsepower of a motorcycle is insane, and the only problem is that there's no barrier between me and danger. So the it puts you're really open. You're really open. It's an open space. There's no you can reach out and touch another car if you wanted to. The thing is, there's no protection there except you wearing full leathers or a helmet or whatever. And riding a motorcycle with I still ride. I don't ride like I used to. And the wife's trying to. She said that was something that you loved to do. That was something that you had a passion for, and you should be doing that always. You should continue doing that. There's times available that you could just go and ride or whatever. So, but I can't do it like I used to. See, while I was in and teaching and things, I could, I rode my bike every day, every single day. It didn't matter rain, sleet, or snow. It didn't matter what the weather conditions were. I rode in those, and it built a tolerance and incorporation of different types of gear. And I have a Kickstarter now, so during an EMP event, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get this thing going. But it's good to know, right? Scouting purposes, motorcycles are great if you have a quiet one. They are great for that. I remember I had this loud Harley Davidson, and someone asked me what style it was. It was a cafe racer. It was Cafe Frisco Bob. So it had a Frisco style to it, and it was also a bobber. So it's a mix, but it was pretty cool. And well, for me, a lot of folks would stop, and it would literally stop them full halt and to looking at this thing, because it was rather unusual to see a bike like that in the area. People would always like to look at that stuff, and so would biker gangs. So I had several situations where I was on the freeway on like the I-15 out in California and had the Mongols roll up, and I was by myself. I was in uniform, which we are allowed to ride in if you're wearing camouflage utilities while you're in the service and you're riding, you're just going from one point to the next, and you're wearing your PPE, your protective equipment, your helmet and all your gear. there's nothing anyone can say about that. So I would ride like that. So I'm still in camis, and I had a group of Mongols roll up on me, and it's just been several times. I do like poker runs. I didn't know how many of you are familiar with poker runs. Runs, each stop you pick up a card. It's a lot of fun to play. There's a lot of events like that people will host. Most like Harley Davidson, biker shop, stuff like that. If it's a riding store where they sell riding equipment, they usually host those things for poker runs and stuff. I used to love doing those things. They were great. And but riding along and at those events, we would have Hell's Angels there and everything else, and no one. It's a normal thing because everyone's used to being around it, but people on the outside looking in sees these things as like, oh, scary. Everybody run away. And for us, for all the motorcyclists, it's whatever, dude. So what? They're in a biker gang. Go get yourself a biker gang. You're right. So for us, that's just kind of the theme. We didn't really care about that sort of thing, and I remember that cranking that bike every morning to go to work, and I called it work, right? So you're still in the military, but it's called work. So I get up at it's like 4 or sometimes 3:30 in the morning, and I go out and I crank the bike, and I don't try to keep it running long because I try to respect other people because it is a louder bike, and I would go out and crank this thing up, and it's fairly loud, and I would ease out on the clutch as much as possible to keep from disturbing everybody and just kind of roll out, and but I wouldn't like gas it like some folks would be like, let's wake the neighborhood, but not me. I would try to ease out of into the parking lot, out of the parking lot and into the street and go, but I tried to take it easy so I wouldn't disturb any folks. But the thing is, we had this neighbor who came. This is when we were living in Ramona, California, and we lived in a shanty out there. Well, we are number one A+ for living in shanties, I tell you. So this family, so living out there, and this gal came to my door. I just got home from work, and she's banging on our door, and I open it, and she's just very PO'd and violent. She's like, your bike is she's told me that her husband is a video game designer, developer or something, designs and develops video games, and that I was causing the sound of the motorcycle was causing them to have anxieties, and they were literally losing their mind and couldn't sleep and all kinds of stuff. And I just said, why didn't he come talk to me? If it's bothering him so bad, and she's just going off and going crazy. And I said, yeah, that's a video game designer, man. I mean, what does he do all night and day, right? So I doubt this doesn't stem from me starting my bike for that few seconds in the morning to take off. This is deeper than that. So this is just an annoyance of something, so some degree. But she got pretty feisty and was going to bust into our house, like, and I had to like shut the door, and she was still like, a lot of name calling after I shut the door in her face, and very politely but rapidly shut the door in her face, and she was very violent and crazy outside on the other side of the door there. But anyway, that's a side story. Sippy was telling me that I should start sharing these motorcycle stories with you guys, and I figured I would do this every now and then and kind of give you guys some backstory of me when I rode. It was I have the highest passion. I don't know. There's no other way to describe that feeling that you get on two wheels, and uh, uh, I have been in accidents. One time, it was a deer. One time was a deer. I got plowed by a deer, and one time, there's been several times deer will just jump out in front of me. But uh, one time I caught it perfect. I nailed it. Once you another thing, hitting the rear brake, right? So I locked up front and rear, and I was hoping that I had front and rear lock, but I couldn't focus enough because I all of a sudden deer, right there jumped right out in front of me, and you're supposed to apply front and rear at the same time at equal amounts of pressure, right? But in a situation where it's like this, this is happening now. So you tend to apply a little bit more rear brake than the front, but I actually rode it pretty good into like total Mission Impossible slide. It was great. And 1 foot down, kept the bike up, and then kept going. So I just said, deer, don't come at me. I'm just going to go around you now. So there's no protection between me and it. So it's not like being in a car where you can apply the brakes and stop and there's a deer in front of you and they're just deer in headlights, right? That's what they do. I mean, they jump out in front of you and they see a headlight and they just stop. So that happens a lot on motorcycles. Uh, Me between other people, there's been times where I share lane. I would share lane, but in traffic, share lane's allowed in California. I would share lane for miles, unbelievable miles. I can't even. I wish I could video that. I'm sure someone on YouTube has probably videotaped share laning in California for miles. I'm sure someone has done that, and I was I was um, you know, I'm held to the highest, right? So my example to other people on the road as an instructor, I had to set the example. I could not be ridiculous like people that would go ridiculous speeds between cars and things like that. I couldn't perform like that because I could get myself in trouble, and billets get rejected and things. So I wouldn't have that title anymore because you have to, and it's just like everyday life. You should always perform your daily tasks. If no, even though no one's watching, you're holding yourself accountable and to the highest standard, right? So going between traffic, there's still people that are very angry about the share laning. So they don't want that to happen. So people will open up car doors and things like that. I've never hit a car door, but I've actually had someone do that. But you develop a level of skill. I could share lane and split cars. So um, I I'm different. I'm a different person on a bike, so I could shift. Basically, when you're going down between cars, even though it's bumper to bumper traffic, I could still I could stop, cut my bike, and go between bumper and bumper, and then shift into another lane and go that way. There's a lot of riders that are not at that ability. You'll see folks around here like they can't navigate a turn correctly. They're because where they look is where they go. If you look down, you crash. It's what you look at is where you're going. So a lot of folks don't realize that. So if you're looking, if an object was a squirrel over here and you start staring at that and you're supposed to be turning left, but you're looking right, you're going to be going right. So that's just the way it works. Uh, so it's good to know these things. So like a lot of people don't know that stuff. So the but the idea of SHTF and motorcycles is a great idea. And if you are, if there's just a pair of you, let's just say it's you and your significant other, or you and a friend, or something like that, or if there's a couple of bikes involved in this situation, and you do want to use those for escape and evasion kind of a situation, those are great, and they're great for reconnaissance. If you have something that's quiet and not extremely loud, those are great. And uh, gear, amounts of gear. They make so many applications for different types of bikes. You got your KLRs that are fantastic. I absolutely love KLRs, and they're so unlimited to the amount of equipment you can get for them in different styles, running lights and stuff. There's different bikes. So I mean, I could get into like BMWs and things like that. I just figured I would stick with that one, kind of give you an example, because off-road terrain, For those of you that have never taken a motorcycle off road, it is an awesome feeling. It is great, and the you can carry the gear on the bike itself instead of your person, so you're not carrying all the stuff on you. The applications are endless as far as you could wear body armor, right? So you would have some sort of protection. You'd probably want, if you're doing this for SHTF, you would want some side sappies or something, some side plates and things like that in the event that people decide to shoot you. But you move fast enough. The thing is, people watch too many movies and they don't understand that hitting a moving target at certain rates of speed is freaking impossible in some cases, because uh, you have to do the lead, you have to go ahead of them and hope to hit them, and there's not that many chances of opportunity there that you're actually going to hit something. So unless it's coming for you. If it's coming towards you, it's a little bit easier, going away from you and coming towards you. So you have to keep that stuff in mind. But the thing is, for applications of this, I'll discuss this a little bit more. I just kind of want to do some backstory stuff here and post this video today for you guys and gals that asked that question. But I have a plethora of very unique motorcycle stories to share, and I don't mind sharing them. All right, that's all I got. You're watching SOS. I'm Stasar Badass. Have a beautiful, fabulous, fantastic day. Rainbows and unicorns. God bless. Take care.